hop on really quickly and talk about compensation. I want to talk about the fact that the Lord compensates those that work for Him. He compensates those that work for Him. Good morning. Thanks for hopping on the live. This is a pretty spontaneous live. Excuse me, but I've been doing women's cohorts for the past 2 to 3 months now, and I've been, we've been talking about different topics, but for this month of mid-October going into the beginning of November, we've been talking about building the innovation, whether that is a business, whether that's a brand, writing a book, starting a community, starting some type of an initiative. For example, a lot of people are starting initiatives for Jamaica, who just went through a very catastrophic hurricane. Some are starting for Cuba as well, and different places that were affected by Melissa. But whatever it is that God has called you to build, this is what we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks. We talked about 7 pillars, and today the last pillar is the pillar of compensation. So I wanted to make this one public. A lot of the other ones were private for the women that are in the women's group, but this one I wanted to make public because I feel like this would really bless people. So the last pillar is the pillar of compensation. When you build whatever God has called you to build, He will compensate you. That is a pillar that you can totally lean on and not expect it to crumble. God will never, never, never allow you to bless someone or bless His work, and He does not bless the work of your hands. And I just wanted to share this brief experience with you. So I was sharing it last night on my Instagram. I remember when I have to refer back to the Purpose Eagle a lot because it's the most recent thing and it's the most profound thing within the past 3 to 5 years that I've seen in my life in business. But I remember when we had just started the Purpose Eagle. It was the year 2023 when we had our first event in August, and I was kind of sharing on different times. I don't remember if I shared it on YouTube, but I've shared it across different platforms that in the month of July, we had just lost our cousin, my cousin-in-law. It was my husband's cousin and also my god brother, Zachary. We had lost him, and it was just very heavy on me to really target the youth because he was so young when he passed away. And, it just kind of shook me up that, you don't know when your time will be. But while you have life and while you have hope, do the things that the Lord has called you to do. You are purposed for more. And so that's where that was birthed. And I remember, the Lord told us to start it in a month's notice, right? So Zachary passed away in July. We did the event in August. And between him passing away in July, 2 to 3 days later, I went to Israel with my church. And when we were there, I was telling them that I went to an olive press in Nazareth, and it was very profound for me. I mean, Israel on the whole was profound, but the olive press experience was super profound for me because it talked about the crushing. An olive is beautiful in its olive state, but until it's crushed, it will never produce the oil that it was meant to produce. So the crushing season is really important. And I feel like that lesson was very profound for me, like multifold. It was profound for TPE, starting TPE, that in the midst of the crushing and the sad seasons, that some form of oil should be produced there, but also in the academy, the Women's Academy that we're now starting by God's grace. It's called Oil Mill Academy, and that stems back to another experience, but I won't talk about that because I'm short on time. But after that season, when we went back and we started um, that first event, the Lord had provided a major check. He provided a major check that I had never experienced before. He provided a check of about $10,000. and it was from a settlement. There was a case that was open from the year before, and it had closed, and for months we didn't, see that check. But then it came at the time where he told us to start this conference, or not conference, this event. And, again, we didn't really have the money necessary. All of the money didn't go towards that event, obviously, but it was a portion of the money that we were able to use towards that event to purchase our tables. I remember even before getting the money, the Lord had told us that we needed to purchase tables. I didn't know why we would be purchasing tables. We didn't have a use for them. But, in your obedience, again, when you're building for God, He will compensate you. And so, in our obedience to buying the tables, that's when we were given the vision to start this event. And then we would use the tables for the vendors that would come and showcase their products or services. So, in the midst of us building that is when God provided that huge check. Another testimony a year later was that we didn't have the money as this event was growing to feed the whole cost or the whole budget of it. And I remember crying out to God for help. And in the midst of that, He sent someone, one of my close friends, that said that the Lord told her to give 10% of her paycheck every week for the next 2 to 3 months for the event. And it went straight to the event. So what I'm saying is, when you build for God, He will reward you. He will compensate you. And I wanted to just leave this little tidbit with you guys here today. No matter what you're building, build with the intention to build for God, and you will never, ever, ever be in doubt if He will reward you. So love you guys, and I will see you later in the next video.